Hello, everyone. I'm here with Scotian Savage, aka Andru Winter.
Yep.
Are you
My
there?
bad, my bad.
You're fine. Hello,
There's
Sarah.
tennis
Hello,
involved.
Cheza Tiger. How are you
Fashion,
doing?
good, really good.
So, tell us a little about yourself.
My name's Andru Winter. I'm a Canadian rapper from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. It's a small province on the east coast of Canada. It's very close to Maine, like right beside Maine. And I've been an artist since 2018, and that's about it. I don't know what else to tell you. What do you want to know?
So Scotian Savage, that's your fight name? That's what you box under?
That's what that came about, but I'm not an actual professional boxer. I'm not a professional mixed martial artist, but I am an amateur, all of that. You know what I mean? Like I've trained for years and stuff like that. I've had a couple what's called smokers, which are like underground fights basically, like at between gyms and stuff like that. But I don't have an actual pro boxing record or pro MMA record, but I have trained for many years and people know me to do that for sure.
Someone said you're fine. So how long have you've been rapping since 2018, you said?
Yeah.
So how and when did you first get to meet and get introduced to Aaron Carter?
We have the same booking agent in Canada, the same management situation. Shout out to Jay, City Bookings, and he kept trying to get me to do a lot of dates with Aaron around Canada, and I kept turning it down. And then he brought me to Nova Scotia, and I was like, oh, that's where I'm from. So I was like, yeah, I do the Scotia one. So I got booked on some shows on the east coast of Canada, Nova Scotia, and yeah, Aaron did too, and away we went. We were on the same tour together. I was opening up for him, like I was like the opening act or whatever for his show, which was actually like the main act for the show, because anybody that went to those shows knows that Aaron really like has a very lackluster performance, to say the least. You know what I'm saying?
He's nothing like how he used to be whatsoever.
Yeah.
So did you know anything about Aaron Carter when you first started working with him, or did your like booking people know anything about him just besides he was a musician?
My first memories of Aaron Carter are like standing in the grocery line with my mom when I'm a kid, and I'm staring at Bop magazine. You know what I mean? 'Cause it's on eye level when you're like 10 years old, 9 years old. And I used to just see like those magazines, and they were just like had really bright colors. It said Bop, and they had like all these dudes that all the girls at school thought were cute. And I used to just like stare at the magazine, and I would just like kind of look at them. I'd be like, man, them boys are having fun. Like I used to just think that to myself consciously, but that was about as much as I thought about them.
Yeah. So,
I
did
did
you
watch the
ever?
reality show a bit though. When the reality show came out, the House of Carters, I actually caught this one episode where he was like coming out of a studio, and he had a bunch of black dudes with him, and he was like making rap and shit. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, little homie wants to get down. And I was like, okay. Like I you know what I mean? I was watching that little transformation from him being a kid to him trying to like do his own thing. And I like that he was like really into production and shit, because like I love hip hop. And I love music in general, you know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
I'm really into making beats and like production and stuff. So like the fact that he wanted to make beats, I thought that was like a really cool thing. And I noticed that about him. But like I said, that's about as much as I thought about the guy in the legacy of his career. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So did your booking people like ever hear any of the crazy stuff about him, or like do any research on him, or did they just know him from when he was like a kid?
No, my booking agent's a pretty resourceful guy. Like he always seems to be with some people that you're just like, how did you meet him, or why are you working with them, or how did you end up down here doing this? Like he's just always around. Like I've seen him around Ja Rule, I've seen him around Irv Gotti and Chris Gotti, and like friggin' all kinds of people. Like I'm not gonna sit here and name the names, but I've just seen him around random people that a guy from Canada. You're like, how in the hell are you like? You know what I mean? So
Yeah. So what was your first impression of him when you first met him?
My first impression of him, I was coming in with preconceived notions. So like I was more or less like thinking he was a lunatic. Actually, I seen him on the Dr. Phil. I think it was Dr. Phil, whatever the one was where they tested him for HIV.
Oh,
or AIDS.
The doctors.
Yeah, like I remember like one day I was just like, surfing through the TV or whatever, and then it's like next week on Dr. Phil, Aaron Carter. And I'm like, whoa, And I seen like the picture of him and shit, and he looked like crazy, like compared to what I was used to look like him looking like from the last time I'd seen him in my life. And I was like,
Yeah.
what, this guy has AIDS? Like, I was like shocked. I was like, what the frig? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I
No, you're fine.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it or whatever. So I was just like, it made me tune in. I watched that episode, and then I had to watch the next one. I had to know if this guy had AIDS or not. Like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, like I don't mean this make that sound. You know what I mean? That's nothing to laugh about, but you know what I mean? Like I was hooked. Like I was like, wow, what? How did this happen? Like what's going on? So that pulled me in a little bit. So going into meeting him, I was already like, okay, this guy's got a lot of problems. He's a bit of a lunatic. About a week or two before I did the shows with him, like I just started watching him on different podcasts. I watched him on No Jumper. I think it was No Jumper. I watched him on Logan Paul's podcast. I watched him on a few big podcasts right at that moment. And literally the day after Logan Paul's podcast, he was with me in Nova Scotia. So he was at the height of like a lot of controversy too. He was acting like a lunatic on everybody's podcast. So I was just in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm here to do my show. He has a mostly female fan base. Most of my music is oriented towards the female audience. It's rap R&B, but melodic R&B. So I was like, you know, a bunch of girls will show up, they'll hear our music, grip onto it, and that's it. So that was kind of like my first impression was just a preconceived notion. I didn't even really give him too much of a chance. But he did like really go out of his way to be nice to me. Like when he first met me, like he gripped onto me right away, basically. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he was just like, you know what I mean? He was trying to do things to like show me, like extend the hand of friendship. But I was just kind of being rude, really. You know what I mean? Not judging him before I met him. I think that's whack. I think you should really get to know people before you judge them and not listen to what people tell you on the internet. Because that's the number one thing I get criticized for is you didn't listen. You didn't listen to us, but all the people trying to tell me they're all people that have no profile picture and that hide behind fake profiles, but yet they have all the information on Aaron Carter and they're out to fix and save the world. Like, show your face. Like I'm here showing my face. I'm not wearing a mask. If you have something to tell me that's important, tell me to me face to face so I know that it's real. Don't send me messages from a fake account and then criticize me for not listening to you. If I listen to every single person that messaged me from a fake account trying to tell me some shit, I'd be whack. I'd just be following around doing what everybody else is telling me to do all the time, and that's not me.
Yeah. So did you start getting trolled really hard when you're messing with Aaron, friends with him?
Yeah, for sure. But like I didn't really understand it. Like I didn't understand what everyone's problem was with him. Like so here's the thing, right? A lot of people question me about that too. They're like, you know, you knew this guy for like a few years, whatever, and you never stepped up and said anything, but I wasn't really paying attention. And then the times that I am paying attention, that world seemed so crazy to me anyway. It was hard to tell what the fuck was going on. I just knew that a lot of people hated him. A lot of people were harassing me. So in my brain, his stories about his harassment and shit, it just made perfect sense because I was being harassed and I'm not even like him. You know what I mean? And I was just an associate of his and I wasn't even on his lives all the time, or I wasn't a regular part of the Carterverse until like probably like 2 months ago when I actually started like tuning in and paying attention and showing up on live. And we were going to do a podcast together that just ended up being a few Instagram live episodes that were just ridiculous. And we never actually got to doing the podcast that I prepared for. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, hey, no one. I watch your channel. I love her channel. So did he ever have you try to troll people? Like, did he ever try to get you to troll his family, his friends?
No, never. Me and him never talked about anything other than real shit. I'm telling him to drink water. I'm telling him like what he needs to do workout wise, what he needs to do career wise, you know what I mean? I'm the one who set him up with the celebrity boxing situation. And I did that in an attempt to get his mind right because, like, you know, being a martial artist and stuff like that, and being around martial arts and training in gyms when I was a kid up to being an adult, I know what martial arts can do for somebody. And I know that it can completely turn somebody around. And the majority of people you find in an MMA gym are not tough guys. They're not hard asses. They're not people that have been in a lot of fights in their life. The majority of people that I met in MMA gyms were bullied or they were painfully shy, or they'd never been in a street fight in their life. Some of them are professional fighters with like, 7-8-0 records and never been in a street fight. So the type of person that attracts to martial arts is a certain type of broken individual that needs that in order to restore the balance back into their life. And that's what all the martial arts movies are about, right? Like The Way of the Samurai and Bushido and all these types of things, right? So I was going to use boxing as a way to get his mind right, because I know boxing, it makes you focus in the moment. You don't have time to think about anything else because you're too locked into that moment, because your safety is depending on it. You don't have time to think about the future. You don't have time to think about the past. You're just fully in the moment. And to me, that would be the most valuable thing to show him, is how to be in the moment and stop constantly thinking about what's going on before, which he's lost in the past. He's always bringing up his brother, or he's in the future trying to figure out who's doing what and what's going to happen with what, and thinks he has all the fucking answers, all the conspiracy.
And it takes a lot of mental discipline to get into all that. And I think it would actually be really good for his anger to get in all that. Oh, hey, girl. Say hey to Alicia K. Thank you for that. So, so did Aaron Carter try to sign you when you were, he tried to get you to work for him?
Right away. Like, that's right away. Like, that was the first thing he pitched to me. And I was kind of like, huh? Like, I was like, he talks so friggin' fast. Like, see what happened, right? Is the very last day of us touring together, we were staying in the same hotel, the Atlantica in Halifax, and we were on the same floor. And I was leaving in the morning, my hotel room, and I had to get my sneakers from my manager, but my manager's like room was in between my room and his room. So when I went over and like knocked on the manager's door or whatever, Aaron was already up. That boy don't sleep, like, you know what I mean? So when he heard the knock, I think he ran to the door thinking it was for him. And he just happened to see me leaving up out the thing with like my sneakers. And he was like, Andrew, can you come here for just one moment, please? And then he just started talking fast. Like, he's like, yo, I'm your manager. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. I like this. I like that. I like the way you perform. And I'm just like in one ear and out the other. But he caught me with like one thing. He was like, yo, he's like, do you know where we can get some weed? And I'm like, well, yeah. You know what I mean? And weed's legal in Canada, by the way. You know what I mean? I'm not telling anybody to break the law. I'm not a drug dealer or nothing like that. He just asked me if I knew where to get some weed. It's perfectly legal. We went down to the NSLC, which is like the government licensed dispenser, and we grabbed some weed. And he was like, yo, he's like, let's grab a bunch of weed. He's like, I got money. I'll grab a bunch of weed. I just need your help. Can you come on the road with me? I want to buy a house in Nova Scotia. I love it here. Like, you're from here. Like, just, you know what I mean? So me being a proud Nova Scotian, the chance to show somebody that's not from Nova Scotia to me is very appealing. So that's kind of where he got me. And the weed, you know what I'm saying? Driving around, because I don't live home in my home province. So a chance to just drive around the province, smoke some weed, chill out, just take it all in. You know, I was just about to head back to Toronto. So I was like, yo, this is kind of dope. Let me do it. And that's how me and him ended up becoming friends. You know?
No one asked, was he in a towel when he popped out of his room?
No, he wasn't in a towel when he walked out of his room, but no, he is known to rock a towel pretty hard, but like, no, at that time, there's no towel. Sorry to disappoint Noah.
So does he even actually have a label? Did he ever show you any proof of a label?
He has a label, and everyone's like, and everyone laughs and kills me in the comments section when I say Raccoose Records, but the name is not an English name. So it's not Rackus. It's not the way that it looks. It's a Scandinavian name, I believe, but it's pronounced different. But he does have that label. But, you know, me doing my due diligence just in the last like 3 weeks, I found out that label hasn't been a functioning corporation in America since like 2000. I don't want to say the date because, you know what I mean? I'd like to have the fact there, but you guys can look it up. RAKKAUS Records hasn't been a functional label for a while. So I don't know if old boy's trying to rob Uncle Sam if he's running a cash business. What's going on with the label, but it's definitely not a registered corporation in the United States of America. So I don't know, but what do I know? I'm just a Canadian. I don't know.
Yeah. So did he give you any money like for an advance to work with him?
No. I didn't
No.
want to work with him. I told him, no, I'm not signing to
Yeah.
your label. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I didn't sign to his label. See, that's the difference between me and everybody else. And I don't mean this in a way to disrespect everybody else, but I never took a cent from Aaron. Don't anybody
Yeah.
come at me like I needed something from Aaron. I don't need shit from Aaron. Aaron's never actually done anything for me. People are just like, they label me an enabler of them because I wasn't fully glued into this boy's whole life and knew everything about him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they see me online when I'm sticking up for them sometimes, but I've never been involved in, like, anybody can pull up any of the clips of me from before. Nobody can find a clip where I was disrespecting any of his fans, where I was being rude, where I was engaging in like negative energy, you know, just projecting that towards fans. The only time that I was engaged in negativity on Aaron Carter's lives is when the trolls that do stalk him, which is a fact, were in there like calling me racist names and like just saying the worst things you could say to somebody. Of course, I'm going to respond back, but I was never actively on there trying to fuck with nobody or trying to troll nobody or none of that shit. Me and Aaron was about positivity. I was trying to fucking turn this guy from, you know, he's a pop star. I was trying to turn it from boys to men. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to make him go from like a little fucking goofy, like little guy that no one takes serious into like that phase of his career where people would look at him like a man. Like I had a vision of him being on like the cover of like a magazine, like actually looking healthy, on point, music on point, family on point. Like that was my kind of vision. Like, yo, this boy needs a comeback. Like who doesn't want, because you know what's better than a comeback story? The comeback story where somebody's at the fucking top, then they hit the very fucking bottom, like the bottom, then climb up. That's better than just the hits the bottom and climbs up. So like he's in position to have a perfect comeback story, but he just doesn't want to do the work that's associated with getting himself better and doing and taking care of himself and admitting to himself that he has issues that need to be worked through, and you can't work through them in a day or in a month or even in a year. He's got deeply, deeply rooted issues that he's going to have to commit a whole lifetime towards wellness in order to like overcome those demons.
Yeah.
You know?
So what caused the falling out between you guys? Was it when he stole your song or stole some of your work?
I like, that's what people like to say because they like to criticize me like, oh, I didn't care what he was doing to people until he did something wrong to me. But what they don't know is Aaron Carter, right from like the first days I was with him, I got the celebrity boxing thing hooked up for him. Like, think about it. Aaron Carter doesn't box. He doesn't even train. He doesn't even know how to throw a punch. Why in the fuck would he decide to do celebrity boxing? Anybody that questions that story, just think about it. I train martial arts. I do, you know what I mean? I'm like, people know that about me. That's why I had that idea. And the reason how the idea came around is because he had Logan Paul's chain when I first met him. So me just trying to be like, get my little moment in the spotlight, I grabbed like Logan Paul's chain and I was like, yo, if you want your chain back, let's fight for it. Because I would box him, you know what I'm saying? Like 100%. Especially then. He wasn't like, this is like 2.5 years ago. He only had one fight at this time versus that YouTuber KSI. So he wasn't like,
is this
Logan
the Lamar
Paul
fight? The Lamar Odom fight?
I set him up with all that shit, man. And Damon Feldman fucking called, ring my phone off the hook for like a year trying to get Aaron to sign because Aaron doesn't keep his word. And he said he was going to sign. And then it took a year for him to actually get signed, but I'm the one who set all that shit up. And I was supposed to fight on the undercard, and that was supposed to be really good for me. And he screwed me out of that. So if I wanted, like, that was the time where I could have just said, fuck Aaron, he screwed me over. Fuck him. I'm going to air out his dirty laundry. Nah, I didn't care. I'm like, yo, if you act goofy and not loyal, that's on you. I'm still 100. I'm still me, regardless of how you treat me. You're not going to change me and how I operate. So if you want to be a little goof, and you've seen how it worked out, he ended up looking like a fool in front of the world. If he had stuck to my plan, what I laid out for him, he could have came out there looking like a lion, looking ferocious, and maybe changed a little bit of the perception of the way that people look at him, like a little bitch-ass Backstreet Boy knockoff boy that's surfing on his brother's coattails. Straight up.
Yeah. He gave up way too easily in that fight. And I think he should have fought someone else because Lamar was like 3 feet taller than him.
You know what though? Lamar, like let's all keep in mind too, like, you know, no disrespect to Lamar, but Lamar is coming off like severe medical issues. He has like a year before, like Lamar shouldn't even been fighting himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Aaron's probably lucky it was Lamar. You know, even though the height looks crazy, trust me, like, I'm a lot shorter than Lamar, and I would spark Aaron out inside of 15, 20 seconds if I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to stand up to one punch. He's going to go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? I know he has trouble getting to bed at nighttime. He's not going to have trouble getting to bed if he steps in the ring with me. And that's something that I would like to do with him, to be honest, since he thinks he's so fucking tough.
I was going to ask you that.
I would love to.
Yeah.
I'd love to get in the ring with that boy, you know? And I like, I'm not trying to sound like a tough guy. Like I told you, I'm not Mr. fucking super boxer. I'm not the king of fucking fighting or anything, but I do know for a fact I could have one arm tied behind my back, use my right or my left, and I could beat Aaron Carter inside of 30 seconds. And I'd be willing to bet whatever on it.
Yeah. So you guys stop being friends? So when he starts stealing some of your music, and like, when did this happen? Like between you guys actually meeting and him doing this?
This is like just recently, and I met him
Mm-hmm.
in 2019, I think it was. Or is it 19 or 20? 2020? I don't know, man. COVID has me kind of like
It's
lost.
been a couple years at least.
Yeah, it's been like it was before COVID. We'll put it that way, right? You know what I'm saying? It's been 2 years of COVID, so like maybe like 2.5 years or something like that. I would say that it was. But like I said, the main thing for me, the reason why I decided to come forward and call him out is because like just on a real level, like there's some shit just on like a surface level. Like I didn't like the way he treated Grady, his artist that he signed. I didn't like that because I watched him sign that guy. And in my head, I'm like, I hope he doesn't fucking do the same thing he does to everybody to this kid, because this kid's talented, like seriously talented. So I was like, and I watched him do that. I watched him screw over a friend of mine named Danica Bucci from Toronto, who's like an incredible singer-songwriter, beautiful human being, all around, just like solid person. And Aaron screwed her around, and she's known Aaron since she was 10 or 11 years old, right?
Yeah.
So like all these people that are just really good to him and really good people, I was watching him screw them over. And then after I'm watching all this for like 2 or 3 days of him just literally, it seemed like he hit this different, like it almost seemed to me like the drug addiction again was back in full bloom. And it was like I noticed it. And he was hanging out with these guys from Florida called the Joker Gang. No disrespect to them, but like he doesn't fit in there. You know what I'm saying? He ain't no gangster.
Yeah.
And the thing is like this, and let that be a lesson to all you gangsters out there that want to hang out with Aaron Carter. You know, hanging out with somebody who's not in that lifestyle and you trying to be his friend is not going to work out well for you. That's just going to get you guys in trouble, and it's going to get him in trouble because you know what he's going to do when shit hits the fan. So if you are involved in the criminal lifestyle, I would steer as far away from that boy as you can, because he's not from that element. He doesn't understand that world. To him, it's all make believe. It's just like when I lived in Asia. Like when I lived in Asia, the way people dress doesn't depend on like their lifestyle. Like as soon as people get off work, they could be a doctor and throw on a rap outfit and they walk around after in the rap clothes. It's just a fashion to them. It's not associated with a lifestyle. And that's the way it is with Aaron too. He's always playing dress up. Sometimes he's dressed up as like a Hollywood cool guy. Other days he's dressed up, he thinks he's a thug and a gangster. Other days he's just like trying to be like a YouTuber with his hood up and his fucking hat on, or you know what I mean? He's always switching. Sometimes he's got Melanie's clothes on and he's trying to flex her clothes. You know what I mean? So he doesn't really know what he's going to do. So, you know, when I seen him anyway, you know, sorry to, you know, get off topic there, but when I seen him with those guys, I was just like, man, this guy's got to be out of his mind, right? And he doesn't even know these guys. And he's offering them up all this stuff. And I'm looking at all the stuff he just took away from the artists that are actually signed to him, me not being one of them. And that's what I'm saying. I don't have a horse in that race. Those guys are the ones that lost money. Those guys are the ones that accepted money. I have nothing. I never took no money from Aaron. I never took nothing from Aaron. Aaron tried to buy me a jacket one time when me and him were at a store and he was buying a winter jacket. He was like, yo, you want one too, man? He's like, grab one. I was like, I'm good, bro. It's all good. I got a jacket. Like literally, I didn't even let him buy me a jacket. You know what I'm saying? All he bought for us was weed and fucking, you know what I mean? He paid the bills at the fucking, for food and at a hotel while we were cruising around, and that's about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's no cash apps from me. Melanie can't pull up no receipts from cash apps to Andru Winter.
Yeah. Well, Aaron always talks all this stuff, but he never has the evidence to back anything up.
Right.
So did you ever
listens to me.
Yeah. Did you confront Aaron about it? And how did that go when you confronted him about stealing your work?
I didn't really confront him about it because he confronted me about it, really. Like, that's why I even went public with this. Like, I wouldn't even say anything. I would have sent him a message myself, like, yo, you know, you're a little bitch ass little, you know what I mean? I would have just let him know about himself. Like, yo, you're wrong and blah, 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 blah. The only reason I did it publicly was because when I realized how bad his mental health is and how bad his addiction is, in my opinion, when I noticed that, I realized that because people did look at me like an enabler of Aaron, even though I'm not, but that's, you know, in the court of public opinion, whatever they paint you with, right, wrong, whatever, you kind of got to wear that. So I started thinking about that. I'm like, people think I'm an enabler of Aaron. And I'm watching him go down a path where I literally feel like he's about to be dead or in jail at any time. I need to like publicly let people know what I've noticed and that I don't stand for it, because people are getting the wrong idea about me because they only see me pop up on his live, you know, once or twice a month for an hour, and then thinking that they know everything about me. And just because, like, another thing is too, probably the two closest guys to Aaron is, prior to this, is me and a guy named Winter Havens. His name's Brian. He's from Florida. He writes all of Aaron's music. We're the only two people that probably actually care about Aaron. And the only reason I say that is because we're the only people that don't have a money motivation. Winter Havens' father is an extremely wealthy man in Florida, very well known. Winter Havens doesn't need a cent from Aaron. So that's the only reason I say that he cares, is because he actually doesn't need anything from Aaron.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
You're
and
fine.
Winter Havens was on like tour with Maud's son. If you know who Maud's son is, he's Avril Lavigne's boyfriend. He just wrote her new album. Like Winter Havens lived with Mike Posner. Like, he had connections deeper to the game than Aaron before. So I know he cares because he doesn't need Aaron. And he's an incredible songwriter on his own. And Aaron doesn't even do anything with the music he sends him. Winter Havens sent that kid 80 songs this year. 80 songs. Most artists don't even make 80 songs in 2 years. Most like regular artists, you know what I'm saying? So, and Aaron hasn't done nothing with them. He just keeps putting out these trash songs that aren't mixed with other people and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Someone wanted to know, does Aaron smell as bad as he looks?
Aaron smells like Hugo Boss 1. He only wears Hugo Boss 1, like the very first Hugo Boss cologne. And I remember he gave me a bottle of it, actually. He was like, Andrew, do you want to know what rich people smell like? And I was like, sure.
Oh
sure.
my God.
And he handed me Hugo Boss 1. He's like, here. He's like, this is what rich people smell like. Okay. But anyway, yeah, he smells like Hugo Boss 1 and Newports and weed.
Yeah. You can't forget the Newports. Someone wants to know, did you make good with Winter, and why is Winter still involved with Aaron?
Winter doesn't know it. Like, Winter doesn't know. Like, here's the thing. You guys think that we know because we're the closest to him, but we're the closest to him, not the closest to his foolishness and close to being on his live. And we're not Crystal Ann. We're not whoever these people are that pop up and are just throwing fucking gas on a fire. Winter Havens, first of all, is a straight up artist. Like, first of all, a lot of people don't know this about him, and I might be taking too much upon myself even allowing this out the bag, but I think it's important so people know how to like process him. Is when he was like 19 or 20, he used to be a wakeboarder, a professional wakeboarder. Like, he lived on a lake. Like I said, he's a rich kid. He had access to all the fun shit. He was just running around having this fun little badass, like these little badass running around with girls, and wakeboarding, smoking weed, doing drugs. Like, and one day he had a really bad accident on his wakeboard. It wasn't actually on the wakeboard, but it was getting pulled on it too, behind a wakeboard. And he hit the wake and he flew up in the air like 40 feet and landed on top of the boat, severed his aorta, and had a severe brain injury. And Winter Havens has a brain injury right now. Winter Havens actually never knew how to do music until he had that accident. When he came out of that accident, he was actually a musical genius. He learned how to play the guitar in a week.
Wow, I didn't know about any of that.
Nobody knows that. I'm being the first person to let you guys know that shit. So just know too that Winter Havens, is it your left brain or your right brain that's responsible for your creative side? Is it left brain? Do you know? Maybe somebody will let us know. I know there's somebody with a psychology major in here that's watching this shit, because those are the people that tend to watch Aaron the most. But anyway, whatever side of your brain is the creative side of your brain, I think it is the left side of your brain.
Yes, I think left.
Yeah, he became more polarized to that side through his brain injury. So Winter Havens, the things that he actually, like, I'm not saying he's like, you know what I mean? He's fully functioning, but what I'm saying is he doesn't pay attention to things that everybody else pays attention to. He's in the music all the time, and I can relate to that because my music partner, Caleb Simmons, is like that. Caleb is just fully into music. Like, there's nothing else. He doesn't have many other skills, but he's a musical genius. So Winter Havens doesn't even care. He doesn't look, and he doesn't show up on Aaron's live very much either. I challenge somebody to find me a time where Winter Havens was on there for more than 15, 20 minutes and didn't go, yo, Aaron, I got to go, man. My phone's about to die. He always says that. He's not involved in that. So he doesn't really know exactly what's going on either. He didn't even know what the problem with me and Aaron was, to be honest with you. He was surprised because we were on live and Aaron was playing my song for him. Then Aaron wanted him to write a verse to put on my song. So he was already knowing what was going on with my song. And then all of a sudden he's like, he said people were messaging him saying Winter's going against Aaron, and he thought it was about him. So he looked into it a bit and saw that we were fighting, but he didn't even know. Like Aaron just calls him up and uses him for music. I might as well tell you, like he is the best. Aaron knows that he needs that guy to even have any credibility as an artist. That guy writes all of Aaron's music, and that guy is a fucking amazing songwriter. So Aaron uses Winter Havens too. And Winter Havens doesn't care because he's not trying to get anything from Aaron. He's trying to help him out the same way I am. He just wants to see him do better.
Yeah.
You know?
And yes, David, we're talking about AC. Oh, just Grady's here. Grady's here. So Aaron does Aaron write any of his own music, or is it just Winter?
Aaron does not write
from people.
Yeah, he steals from people. He doesn't write his own music. I think he could write his own music. I fully believe he could. Like I've been in the car with him, playing beats, us freestyling back and forth. He can rap. Like he can freestyle rap, everything. Like, so I know he could actually write his own music if he tried, but I think he has so low self-confidence about himself that he doesn't think that his expression will be enough for people, because everything that made him famous was written by somebody else, right? Like all of his songs were written by somebody else. So I think that's why he's always trying to prove to people that he's the writer of these songs, because I don't think anybody's broke down that his deepest insecurity is not feeling musically adequate either. Like his brother's so accomplished in terms of what he was doing. And even though his brother is a pop star too, like everything's done for them, whatever, but he's still more of an accomplished musician. I don't think Aaron ever, I think the thing he wants more than anything, I think the thing he wants more than sobriety, I think the thing he wants more than a family, I think the thing he wants more than anything is for people to look at him and value him as a musician, and not just look at him like Nick Carter's little brother who, you know, is a little shit and was a little pop star and we care about him because he was Nick Carter's brother. Like that's the main thing driving his whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, and I also saw like a live where you're talking about Aaron wanted you to help him get a mansion in Canada, and you guys were looking at luxury properties. Did he ever buy that mansion? And do you know if this is when he started the GoFundMe so he could move to Canada?
Did he start a GoFundMe so he could move to Canada? Was that a real
there
thing?
was a GoFundMe started so he could move to Canada and start over.
Trust me, that would have been if he wanted to move to Scotia, it would have been the worst place for him, because I'll tell you one thing. When I was on that tour with him, I was keeping the wolves off that boy's ass the whole time we were in Scotia. Trust me. The wolves were barking at the gate, chomping at the bit, and they wanted at him, and I kept all the pressure off him while he was there. And trust me, he disrespected some people that were the wrong people to disrespect. He was mostly with people that were trying to show him love. He screwed people over that were just there to, like, you know what I mean, exchange energy with him. Like, he doesn't understand. Like, I'm from Canada, I'm from Nova Scotia. We have a whole different set of moralities and the way that we operate and the way that we treat one another. And where I'm from, they call it down home, and we have a down home mentality. And what a down home mentality is like good old boy mentality. Like, you know what I mean? Open the door for a girl. You know what I mean? Say please and thank you. Take your hat off at the table. Never walk into somebody's house with your shoes on. Like, we just have a certain, and he just offended a lot of people in Scotia, and a lot of people were actually just worried in general of him being there. Like, they were counting down the days until his flight left, and they're checking in with me all the time, making sure that everything was all right, because people were scared of what he would get into in Scotia, and then it'd be brought on them because they were the ones that actually brought him there. So I was actually like his little babysitter and shit, and just trying to calm everybody in Scotia down. Like, even when he got to Scotia, he had a police escort off the plane. Like, they had to come and like the police actually walked on the plane and walked him off and shit.
Wow.
So like, he's not a very loved person anymore, you know, because of his actions. So you're lucky, bro. You're lucky. You're lucky you didn't get that spot in Scotia, man, because trust me, man, Scotia ain't nothing to play with. And any of you people that are watching in the States that think like Scotia's some kind of joke, or you think Canada's some kind of joke, better do your fucking homework. Better do your homework before you play around with anybody from where I'm from. You better do your homework, and you better make sure that you study hard and good before you come playing around in Nova Scotia with anybody, or anybody in Toronto or anything like that. You guys think it's soft up here, you're dead wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, go do an investigation. Go ask somebody that you trust. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't even know, man. Notorious B.I.G. got robbed in Toronto, man. Biggie did one concert in Toronto and never came back. People can look this up. This is factual. And I'm not saying like I love Biggie, man. I'm just saying it can happen to anybody in Canada. Don't get it twisted. Never get that shit twisted, man.
And so, like a week ago, Aaron was on Instagram Live, and he had some of his guns on his porch, and he was waving it at random cars driving by, and there's little kids.
Flood, right?
Yeah,
Elmer
there's
Fudd.
little kids up and down the street
Oh yeah.
screaming, and he was trying to say that you and Grady sent people after him. Did you threaten him or do anything like that?
I don't know if you've been like paying attention to me for like, just since we've been like, I don't know if you catch any of my stories or whatever, but like,
Yeah,
I'm the last person that's out there trying to threaten anybody's life.
yeah,
That's just not my energy at all. You can tell by the way I'm talking to you right now. Like, that's not my thing. And yeah, he definitely accused us of that. He accused me of conspiracy to commit murder with Grady, implicating Grady as my accomplice in this whole thing. I don't know Grady personally. I've never met Grady.
mm-hmm.
For all I like Grady. Like me and him have
Mm-hmm.
like been chopping it up since, you know what I mean? I really like him, but I don't know him. For all I know, Grady could be a serial killer down there in fucking Philly. And then Aaron's mixing my name into, you know what I mean? It was just a really
Yeah,
dangerous thing. And I also felt like it was racially motivated. Like, I felt like he took the two black dudes in the situation, right? And tried to like paint this narrative like, yo, these guys are really dangerous and these guys are after me and they're trying to kill me and like try to get us locked up, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I
mm-hmm.
don't know. That happens a lot. You know what I mean? Like, people get locked up in the States a lot. It has the highest incarceration rate of any country on the planet. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So it's like you got to be careful. When I'm in the States, I'm very careful with what I do because I know how real jail is in the States too. Jail is a
yeah,
lot different. That is one thing that's a lot crazier than Canada is like the way that the jails operate in the United States is fucking wild. And that's not a place I'm trying to end up, especially being half black, half white and being from Canada. Where in the fuck do I fit into that scenario? Am I with the woods? Am I with the gorillas? Am I like, where do I go? Like, I don't know what to do. I'm not even from the country. So like that's
yeah,
the last place I'm trying to go. I have nothing to do with nothing like that. I'm involved in no types of criminality. Just a regular guy. I smoke weed. I study. You know what I mean? I'm into music. You know what I mean? I'm not into
yeah.
that. I'm not
Do
into
you feel
murder for
like
hire.
Aaron is even responsible enough, like, and stable enough mentally to be owning guns?
What do you think? Not
I
to turn the
don't even know
question
how
around.
he has guns. I thought he was on probation. I thought you couldn't have guns if you're on probation.
I don't know how he has anything that he has, and that kind of makes me look at him a little different too. Like, who really is like, cleaning up all the mess behind this boy. Like, I feel like he has like a team of people with like brooms and like mops and like dustpans behind him, just like cleaning everything. And I don't really know who it is because this boy gets away with absolute murder. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, he gets away with everything. Like, things that would trip anybody else up, he just seems to skate through them. Even this whole thing with Melanie and stuff like that and the abuse allegations. Like, I don't understand how he gets. The only thing that I can think of is maybe he is being investigated on some level. Because here's the thing about like the way that law enforcement works is they ain't gonna get you on your. They ain't gonna wait till you get your hand in the cookie jar the first time.
yeah, they're
They might
gonna
not even.
build and build. Yeah,
Yeah, so they can really body your ass when it's time. So he better watch what he's doing. He better be careful what he's doing. And it would be time to make a turnaround there, young man. Little Lou
yeah,
Pearlman, that's what I call him. I don't even like to call him Aaron. I'm just calling him Aaron because your platform's more like, um, it's I don't know. I call him Little Lou Pearlman because he steals people's music, he steals people's money, and he's out there just
mm,
on a fucking rampage and just leaving a wake of fucking victims. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah. So, did he ever call the police on you or anything crazy like that?
yeah, they filed a police report in Lancaster. He had Melanie
What?
file a police report or whatever about me and Grady or whatever, and yeah.
Oh
Nothing
my
came of that
god.
though, so I ain't really. Here's the thing, right? This is the one thing that saves anybody when they're dealing with Aaron is nobody believes a fucking word the boy says, right? So
Mm,
no matter what he's saying about you, everybody's taking it with like a grain of salt, like to say the least, right? So like,
mm,
but it's still a little like nerve-wracking for me just knowing that you can get caught up in the system, and it just feels like in the States it's like the person with the best lawyer seems to win, not necessarily the person that was right or wrong.
yeah,
So yeah, nothing's come of that, but I have nothing to do with it. I don't want to hurt Aaron at all in that way. I wouldn't mind getting
yeah,
in a boxing ring with him in a controlled environment and putting it on him like that, you know what I'm saying? But like that's sport. And if he showed up there, that would mean that he agreed to be there. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Um, what have you talked to? When was the last time you talked to Aaron?
Last time I talked to Aaron is when he brought me on live with his like little crew of like jokers or whatever from Florida, and he tried to like pull a tough guy move and like. Okay, so I kind of got off track when I was telling you what happened. So I went on live one time, and this is after I already wrote this song or whatever. And he brings me on live, and he's like, "Yo," he's like, "Everybody, I want you to hear my new song." And I'm just sitting there, and there's some other guys on the live. And then he starts playing my song, but I'm not on it anymore. And there's like new people on it. And then he just kind of like, I felt like he was trying to play his little games, like he was trying to put me in my place or something. Like instead of him like hitting me up being like, "Yo, Andrew, like you wrote this song for me. I'm just going to take it. And I was going to have you feature on it, but I just, whatever, because I wrote the song for him. Like the song my new song, Sliding, by the way, it's on YouTube right now.
Yeah,
Anybody check it out. Andru Winter, Sliding. That's the song that he tried to steal from. Well, he's trying to steal from me right now, twice over. But he was supposed to, I wrote the song for him. He was supposed to perform my hook with his voice. And then he was going to feature me on the song. But when he heard the hook, the way I did it, and in context with my verse and everything, he was like, "Yo, man, everybody around me and my team says like this record's too good to like take you off the hook." He's like, "I'm just want to give the record to you. So now it's no longer me writing it for him. Now," he said, "the record can just be for you." He's like, "And I'll feature on it." I was like, "All right, cool, man. Sounds good." And then the next day he brings me on live, plays my song with other guys on it, and just sits there with like this smug look on his face, like, yes. So I'm like, okay, little man, cool. I didn't say nothing. I was like, cool, little man. You know what I mean? But right then and there, I was like, okay, now you're trying to. Now I can't even just call you and just be like, "Yo, you're tripping," like I always do, because trust me, man. Like I'm the kind of guy. Say if I'm out in this is the way I was raised, right? If I'm out in a bar and one of my friends is running his mouth to somebody and a fight cracks off, I'm gonna fight, no matter if my friend was right or wrong in that moment. When I don't have all the information, I'm going to fight for my friend first, right? And then when we get home and I put together what happened, I'm going to fucking grab my friend by his throat and be like, "Yo, don't ever put me in that fucking position again. You're fucking wrong. You should have never started that shit." But in that moment, you know what I mean? That's the way I was raised. So for me with him, it was like the same kind of thing. It's like, I seen people harassing him and the same people are harassing me. So it's easy to like believe that because it was real. It just wasn't what he was saying it was. Which I didn't think so either because I never really listened to him too hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, AT2. And so did you talk to Shane? Did you ever know anything about like the 15-year-old girl that Aaron was texting?
I do. I've talked to Shane just since I came forward and just said what I thought about Aaron. I think it was my February 19 post on my Instagram wall. If anybody wants to check it out, it was like an hour long. It's kind of long and drawn out, but if you skip through, you'll catch like the points or whatever. But I was just basically telling people how I felt about Aaron without throwing him under the bus, without trying to pull his dirty laundry, just sticking to the facts. Cause I thought the facts were fucked up enough. I didn't feel like I needed to go down any extreme road. I feel like the more extreme people try to go, the less it works on him. Like he's been accused of so many bad things that has never amounted into anything, right? So I try to take a different approach and just stick to what we could actually like put our finger on in the moment, so then people would find me more credible because I'm speaking the truth instead of just going off of what other people said. But I have talked to Shane since then. I don't know Shane. He's not a friend of mine or anything like that. Not that there's anything wrong with him he's just, I don't know him. But I did go live with him a few times and he told me from his perspective and sent me some screenshots of Aaron having an inappropriate conversation with a 15-year-old girl, allegedly. I don't know. And people say he admitted it. He did and he didn't. The clips that are on the internet, they speed up to when Shane asked him, like, "Yo, do you know what you were doing was wrong?" And then they kind of like cut out a piece where he's like, "Well, yeah, but you can tell it's part of like him saying." So I don't really know what to think, but I do know one thing. There's too much evidence there for me to ever feel comfortable standing behind him as a friend again.
Yeah.
So I just want to get everybody to let you guys know that. Don't get this shit twisted. I don't stand behind that shit at all. That's the last thing that I fucking stand behind. That's some goofy shit that I do not stand behind at all. And that's why me and Aaron will never be like friends again. You know what I mean? Because whether it's right or whether it's wrong, I've heard enough inconsistency in the story to
Yeah.
feel a ways about it myself personally. But for me to
Yeah.
come out there and say that it's a fact, that's where I draw the line, because I don't know. I wasn't
Yeah.
there. I'm not the girl. I'm not her family. I'm not Aaron. I wasn't involved in his life at that time. So for me to run around acting like I have the facts when I have to be real with myself and know that I don't, that would make me one of these idiots with the fake profile pictures trying to
Yeah.
tell everybody about Aaron.
Yeah. I appreciate you being honest. What are your thoughts on the whole treatment of Melanie? Like, were you ever around him in person while he was dating Melanie?
Not in person when he was dating Melanie. I was supposed to come down there a bunch of times, but because of COVID and the whole situation, the travel across the border was, and that's another thing people have to keep in mind. Like, I live in a different country. I do not live in you guys' country. I live in a whole different country. We don't watch entertainment to that degree in Canada. Like, everybody watches entertainment around the world, but the culture around entertainment isn't as strong as it is in the States. That's why our artists are blowing up, and like that's why our artists have, like Drake, The Weeknd, Bieber, whoever, Jim Carrey, fucking Ryan Reynolds, fucking, you know, David Foster. We have to come south of the border in order to have our success, because the culture isn't built around that up here. That's not what people are worried about. So like, you know what I mean? I don't know as much as you guys would know. I'm not even onto the same media publications as you guys would be onto
Yeah.
and stuff like that, right? And they don't cover a lot of celebrity gossip in Canada. They just stick to the boring, well, what they call the facts. But you know what I mean? So I spent a lot of time on the phone because he includes her. Like, when you call Aaron on the phone, if you say anything to him that like resonates with him, he's like, babe, babe, Andrew said, that this is going to be this, and that's going to be that, and no, Andrew said it, and he'd be like, yeah, like he's always like, so like I see how they interact. I've talked with her on the phone. I've even said on live one time when she just had the baby and asked her a few questions about being a new mom. You know what I mean? So it's just like I know a bit of their dynamic, but I've never actually spent time around Melanie. But what I think about it, I think it's disgusting.
Yeah, the way you drag the mother of your kids online, it's just like,
I think
I know
it's
he likes to live stream, but not everything needs to be put out there. And it's just, do you think they'll end up getting back together? If they aren't already.
This is my opinion, just stating this is my opinion.
Yeah.
I look at Melanie as being in an abusive relationship right now, and women that are in an abusive relationship, unfortunately, they'll run back to the abuser because they're trying to protect the abuser. Because you guys gotta understand, like, the psychology of an abused person. It's like, what's the syndrome called? Stockholm syndrome, where people protect their abuser, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's like that type of thing, right? Like, and that's the thing with Melanie. Every time her and Aaron have broken up, every time she hits me up, right? Because she knows that I'm the person that's the closest to him in terms of like personally, not internet and career, but just on a, like, I can talk to him and he'll listen to me, right?
Yeah.
So she's hit me up after all their breakups. I've intermediated all that in the past, and I think that she flip-flops. Like, one day she's gonna be putting him in jail and he's going to get what he deserves because she can't handle it anymore and she's tired. And then the next day it's like, oh my God, take this down, take that down. You know, he this is happening. He has this around him. So I think Melanie will be with Aaron unless the courts make it so she can be with Aaron. So I think Aaron actually did her a favor by serving her a restraining order, which was disgusting. The way he chased her down on Instagram.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Disgusting.
Yeah, she was running with her suitcase and dropped it. And
do you imagine just chasing a woman, period? Like, that's just like, just imagine, like, as a man having a woman in so much fear that she's running with a fucking suitcase and trying to hide her.
Especially with how mentally unstable he is. I'd be scared he'd be ready to pull a gun out on me or something.
Well, that's the thing. He definitely shouldn't have guns, I don't think. But that's men don't carry guns in Canada, only for hunting, and we don't have a carry permit. None of that shit. So we have a different culture around guns. So I don't really understand all the dynamics, and I'm not speaking on American politics, but I believe that he shouldn't have guns. I think that after what he exhibited out on that Instagram live, thinking that some guy sitting in Canada is coming to kill him in Lancaster, like, come on, man, this just sounds ridiculous. Like, that would be a scene out of like a bad like John Candy movie or some shit, like where this Canadian guy is a lunatic, like running through the States trying to pull up on pop stars and like kill him. Like, come on, man, it doesn't even sound realistic. So well, the thing I was most worried about when he was doing that is I could hear the kids in the background playing
I
with their.
know.
And I was thinking, like, what if one of these kids runs across the line? What if he's in a drug-induced psychosis and he gets nervous and thinks it's me or Grady or some shit? Like, I don't know, maybe a light-skinned kid runs across the thing with blue hair and he's just like, you know what I mean? Makes a mistake. Like, that's what had me nervous is like, I'm looking at this guy's state of mind, realizing he's clearly like in a delusion. So someone that's having delusions and thinks that things are going on that they're not, and they have access to weapons, it's dangerous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Do you think he'll ever get joint custody of his son if him and Melanie do stay split up?
I think if it goes to court, that Aaron will not be allowed to see that baby until he seeks out a treatment program. I don't think any judge in the world is gonna allow him to have, after what he's exhibited. Even like he kicked them out like the second or third. I think it was the third day that they were home with the baby. Remember they broke up like the third or fourth day. I don't know if you noticed.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's another turning point for me too. When he did that, that's when I actually started looking at him critically, because he's always telling me, like, he would call me in the middle of the night, be like, "Oh, Perez Hilton is saying this about me," and he would get me to try to, like, he would get me to help him write up what to say back to these people, right?
Yeah,
so like, I was looking at it more like he was trying to do his best to be a good dad. Like, I wasn't paying attention to what was going on because I wasn't watching it all day, every day. And I thought that things were going well with him and Melanie, and maybe me being a little naive and a little soft-hearted, I thought maybe the baby would be the catalyst that would bring them together. You know what I mean? But I was wrong. You know what I mean? I know I was wrong, and I know I look naive for even thinking that. But I thought things were going well. And then when he kicked them out, you know, and then had girls over, and I'm like, no, I'm like, this is wild behavior. Like, it just showed me that he had a complete lack of self-awareness too, because even somebody that's on some bullshit, they're not going to do it like that publicly. They're going to do it on the sly or some shit, because they don't want people to look at them like a piece of shit. And the fact that he doesn't care that people are looking at him like a piece of shit, that's what shows me that he's under some sort of, in my opinion, drug-induced psychosis. I think he's having a lot of reactions between medicine. I'm not a medical professional. I do not know. But I believe that he's having a lot of reactions between medicine. I also know that he's smoking a ton of weed. He's drinking liquor. And I think that out of like the 7 or 8 medicines that I know that he's on, I think not even one of them you're allowed to drink liquor with. And people are watching him drink liquor. He's swigging out the bottle in his new music video, and he says it's a prop for a video. Bro, if you're gonna have a prop for a video, you're gonna use a Smirnoff bottle, bro. Come on, man. That's what you could afford that day. That kind of made me feel sad too, that he was drinking out of a Smirnoff bottle when he sold, like, you know, a couple million records when he was a kid. Now he's drinking out of a Smirnoff bottle with a bunch of enablers, the true enablers around him. Morgan Matthews. And people like that. Like, Morgan Matthews was at his crib for 5 days trying to record music. They got one song recorded. It was trash, and they shot a video that looked like it was a Saturday Night Live skit. Like, come on, man, get it together. He's not aware right now. And I think what happens around him, and I don't know this either, but I think what happens is all these people come around him that are like opportunists, and what they do is they bring him in real close, and they always have like an accolade that gives him like the trust, where he's like, Morgan won a Grammy with Alicia Keys. And you know what I mean? So because this Morgan guy has a credit on an Alicia Keys record that won a Grammy, Aaron's just do anything. So I think that guy's using that to be like, yo, Aaron, give me $5,000, we'll record your music and we'll shoot your video. And I think Aaron, this is just an example, right? I think Aaron will give him like $5,000. Then that Morgan guy will spend $200 getting the music and the video done, and then put the rest in his pocket. And Aaron's too high to like realize that he sounds like shit, his vocals aren't mixed, and that his video looks like a fucking joke. That's what I think's going on personally, but I don't know that for a fact. But I noticed that Morgan guy was drunk the whole time he was there too. So, you know, somebody in recovery, they do not need drunks around them. 100% people drinking around them. They need people that are sober. Sorry.
Yeah, and I think just the fact that he kicked out Melanie like a couple days after she had her C-section, you can barely even get out of bed. Like, I was in bed for like 3 weeks straight after my C-section. It's so messed up. And thank you, Eden. She said, Mr. Savage, your impression of Little Lou is legit slaying me 6 feet under right now. Thank you for making me ugly cackle, my God. You do have the best Aaron Carter impersonation.
I'll take that one. If there's anything I want you guys to remember me from out of all this, it's I fucking kept a level head and I had a great Aaron Carter impersonation.
Yeah.
Impersonation. So impersonation.
So has any of his friends or family or exes tried to reach out to you?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of his exes have reached out to me.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, Jenna Shea, Abba,
Yeah.
Melanie, obviously.
Hmm.
There's been other ones too. There's other family members too. I don't want to put their name out there.
Yeah.
I know Jenna doesn't care if, she let that be known. I know Abba doesn't care. And Melanie, it's off, it's been out there that me and her have talked back and forth. But even with Melanie, like, I'm sick of that too, because here's the thing, man, like, she is a victim in the situation, right? But
Hmm.
you're only a victim until you know what's going on. And then if you continue on with it, then you're kind of like, you're not making the proper decisions. And I know that with abuse involved, that her mind wouldn't be in the correct place to maybe make the correct decisions. But at the
Yeah.
same time, she knew what this boy was when she met him. Okay. Let's
Yeah.
not forget this. She knew what that boy was when she met him. And another thing, Melanie kind of pissed me off because she asked me to start a GoFundMe for her. And she asked me, she's like, I need help, like,
Oh.
do it, like, set it up, because he had just kicked her out. And to be fair to her, she did get kicked out with nothing at the time, like no baby wipes, no nothing. And you got to
Hmm.
understand, their money's probably tied up together, right? Like, it's probably not just separate accounts. She can take her card. So that's the way I was thinking. And she was out on the road. So I was like, all I did was write on GoFundMe, this is for Prince. His parents are going through a rough time right now. If you would like to support, you know what I mean, to help him out with a few things, do it. I didn't try to spin any kind of like, you know, he's sick or she's sick, or like make it sound, because I was
Yeah.
investigated by that, by the way. I was investigated by GoFundMe for that. They cleared me on it, but for like 3 or 4 days, like, they had me feeling like I was about to get like in some trouble with the police over that. But after they looked into it, they cleared it, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, I set up that GoFundMe for her. I put it up one night. I made her the 100% benefactor. Like, none of that money came to me. The money was going. She got sent an email. She signed up all of her payment information,
Uh
and the
huh.
money came to her. And then the next day she messaged me freaking out, like, yo, take that down, take that down, take that down. People are attacking me over this BMW. And the thing is, that's her own foolishness, because she tried to flex a Beamer X5, which is not to be flexed anyways. It's basically a grocery getter. Like, people think because it's a BMW that they're like, oh, wow, she has all this money. But a Beamer X5 is probably like 40 or 50 grand, which is less than an Escalade, which is what they were driving before, probably by like half the price. And
Yeah.
it wasn't even hers, it was a lease. She even messaged me to ask me if it was a good lease for her, like, because she was telling me how much they wanted to charge her, how much the term of the lease was, how much was going to be left over, how many clicks. I was just trying to help her make a good decision, because I knew
Yeah.
that she had a baby with her, and a woman with a baby needs a reliable vehicle, especially when
Yeah.
they're bounced out on their ass and they're staying at their sister's house, you know what I'm saying, and they got a
Yeah.
lunatic for a baby daddy and an ex-boyfriend.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you
So she
there.
pissed me off with that, because she did need the money, but she tried to flex online like she didn't, and she just ended up making herself look stupid. But trust me, she needed it at that time.
Yeah.
She's not rich, and he's not rich either. He's broke. He shakes his little bird on OnlyFans, for dudes
So,
that support him in the community, right? And shout out to the dudes in the community that keep me informed on what his activities are within the community. And that's another thing. I feel like Aaron abuses the gay community. I feel like he exploits the gay community for donations and like for support. And I don't think he cares about them, because he flip flops too on his own sexuality. One minute
yeah.
he's this, one minute he's not. Like, just own who you are and what you are, because it's really disrespectful to people that are that thing when you're embarrassed to be that thing, and you're in a
Yeah.
position of like influence, right? And just makes it look
Mm.
like it's shameful, and it's not shameful at all to be yourself and to be who you are. And I think that that's part of Aaron's problem too, that people aren't diagnosing. I think him not coming to grips with his sexuality has a lot to do with his behavior as well. You know what I mean?
Mm.
That
Yeah.
would be one of the deepest insecurities, if you were scared to truly be who you are. Like, in that way, that's one of the deepest things that people try to hide from society or try to protect. So I know that it's a touchy subject, but I think it's disrespectful to people that are living their truth, that support him, that he flip-flops back and forth, and he's with them when it comes with donations and stuff like that on OnlyFans. Because like girls ain't sending him money on OnlyFans, okay? Like let's keep it real. Like good-looking women don't want to see a boy that weighs 115 pounds soaking wet jumping around his backyard boxing a fucking mannequin with his little fucking shriveled up little fucking piece of wet fucking noodle hanging off the front of his body, like bouncing around. Like nobody wants to see that shit, bro. And
Just one second. Is your phone going off? Okay, I would need like 5 more minutes from you. I just got a few more questions.
Yeah, my bad.
Did you ever see him using any drugs, or did he ever talk about his drug use with you?
I've seen him use what he was prescribed. You know what I'm saying?
Did he
I also seen how aggressive he gets. Like I've had to find, because Aaron's a mess, right? He can't keep anything together. Everything's like, he drops this, drops that. He left that over. Like he's very absent-minded. He doesn't remember from one second to the next. Sometimes I don't know if he's lying to everybody or trying to mislead people, or if he just forgets what he said before. Or like even when he screws people over, it's like, did he really screw them over, or did he not even remember that he told them that shit because he's too high, right? So I've seen him use the medicines that he's prescribed. I know that one of it was gabapentin. I know one was Seroquel. I know Xanax was also part of the script. There's probably 3 or 4 other ones that I don't know, but he was carrying it around in a Wells Fargo bag with him. And like every day, at least one time during the day, he's freaking out trying to find it. And he's like freaking out to me. I would go in the car and find his, stuff and give it to him. So I know that there's an urgency there for when, like, I know he needs to stay very medicated in order to like just stay on, like, at least it's not even an even plane because it's completely not that, but just for him to operate in a way where you're not like, damn, this boy needs to be like, admitted today. It takes a regiment there, and smoking weed on top of it.
Yeah. Do you think Aaron's capable of looking after all those dogs he has? And do you know anything about him allegedly flipping rescue dogs?
I'll spill a little bit of tea. I've been keeping it like pretty chill, and I know there's a bunch of fucking bloodthirsty friggin' animals in this chat right now that want to hear me just say something that they can run with. So I'll give you a little something to run with. And this is allegedly, obviously, I don't know this. And this is, once again, another person messaging me off the internet trying to tell me some shit. Who knows if they're right or they're wrong. But someone messaged me that said that they worked at the dog rescue that he took Zeus, I think the dog's name was, too. It was a German Shepherd that he had prior. Somebody might know in the comment or whatever, but he took this dog to a dog rescue, and somebody that works there, who claims to work there, messaged me and said, hey, I want to stay anonymous, but I work at this rescue. And they said the dog died the day after he brought it in, and they did a little autopsy because he's been known to have mistreatments of animals, and they found out that the dog was poisoned. So I'm not saying he poisoned the dog.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if this happened because somebody reached out to me that is anonymous telling me this, but I do believe that he mistreats animals. And the reason why I say that is because people learn how to treat animals from their parents. Whatever you see your parents doing with an animal, like, for example, my father was raised on a farm, and, he was, killing animals every day, you know what I mean? For, as part of the work of being on the farm. And he had a colder approach, kind of like the way I would see him like interacting with certain things. Like I just noticed like it was a little off, and I think like it was the same thing with like his I don't know, like I think Aaron's like, I think his what I'm trying to say is I think his mother, and this is, I don't know this, but from what I can see and from what everyone's saying, mistreats animals. And I think that Aaron's learned to look at dogs like not like they're just like an accessory. Like I think he just likes to put them on and they look cute and hold them up. You're like, oh yeah. But like anybody that owns a dog, just one dog is a full-time job. It's almost like having a child. So to have like a whole gang of dogs running around your house, and they're all living in the bathroom, and you can hear them yelping when he's on live. You close the door and you just hear them yelping in there, and they're all just jumping around and playing in their own piss and shit, and just like, I don't know. I don't think you should have animals. If you can't take care of yourself, why in the hell would you take care of another being? whether it's a
Yeah.
person or an animal. Like, learn how to take care of yourself first, and then you can take care of other things. If you can't take care of yourself, then you can't take care of anything else. So no, you shouldn't have it.
Yeah. Well, if you could say anything to Aaron today, what would you say to him?
Stop being a piece of shit. I'm not saying you are a piece of shit, but you're acting like a piece of shit. I don't know if you are or if you're not. I don't even know you that well. I'm starting to realize I don't really know you at all like that. I thought I did, but I was being naive the same way a lot of other people are. Like, I'm not the only one, man. Jenna Shea was the same thing. Like, Jenna and Aaron bonded over family issues, right? Like,
Yeah.
they had some, I'm not going to speak on their situation too much because it's none of my business, but they had similar family traumas and situations that they bonded on. And I know that Jenna really thought that Aaron was like pretty solid. Like, it wasn't a publicity stunt. Like, I think she was really like bonded to him, like trauma bonded to him. And then when she showed up at his house, she started noticing that, whoa, things are very off here. That's why the relationship only lasted 72 hours. So I would just say, stop acting like a piece of shit, because the things that you're doing to people, even the way that you treated Jenna, like, you accused Jenna of trying to kill you too. Like, that's wild shit too. Like, I don't know. I would just say stop being a piece of shit. Take
Yeah.
responsibility for yourself. Own up to what you've done. Take accountability for what you've done, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because at the end of the day, the only way you're ever going to get respect is if you're take accountability for what you've done. And the thing is we've seen it in society. Almost everything's forgivable, like, you know what I mean, to a certain degree, in the court of public opinion, if people see the person making the actual steps that it takes to get better. And I don't think that Aaron, I don't even know. I don't know if it's the addiction is so bad that he's just trying to keep the train rolling on it. Because I know, like, when you're in an addiction, right, you're not thinking about what people think about you. You're not thinking if people know that you screwed them over. You're just worried about, like, okay, I need to get high the next day and not end up in jail and not end up somewhere where I can't get high. So I don't know if it's just he's just trying to keep the addiction going, or if he really doesn't see what we see. Maybe he is such a narcissist that, and so not self-aware to the point where, he does have zero empathy for anybody else. But I don't know that. All I can tell him though is just take accountability. Stop being a piece of shit. Own up to what you did, man. At the end of the day, it's going to come out anyway. If you did send those pictures to that girl, man, clearly and concisely let everybody know what in the hell the situation was regarding that. And you let people make their decision, because anybody that mistreats children doesn't deserve any respect at all anyway. But at least be honest and come forward and let people know what's going on with that. So then the people that are in your life, they can make the decision if they want to stand there or not. Because I know that there's people that are standing there right now that are going to go down on this ship with them. You know what I'm saying? And, and a lot of them, it's due to ignorance. Like, they don't know what's fully going on the way everyone else does. Like, like, if you think about it, right, like, someone that makes music, that's where their mental capacity is at, right? People that watch music, their mental capacity is on what the people that are making music are doing, but not necessarily about the music. Everything else, what shoes they wear, what clothes they, who their girlfriend is, where they shop at, where they live, what kind of house they got. But like, people that make music are kind of tuned out to the rest of the world. Like, artists don't, they're not in that vibration. So the people that are around him, I'm just warning you right now, his ship's going down. Another thing I would say to him too is, like, I do feel like Aaron's either going to end up dead or in jail. Him and Michael Jackson were friends. And I think that, the way that Michael Jackson met his demise could be a very similar situation to Aaron if he doesn't make an effort right now to make some changes. And it's up to him. It's not up to me. It's not up to Melanie. It's not up to nobody. You know what I mean? Like, even if the courts send him to rehab, it's still going to be up to him if he gets the benefit out of rehab. You can be anywhere and not benefit from it if you're not putting the work into it. Just because you're there doesn't mean anything if you're not paying attention and participating and putting the effort in. So get your shit together, bro. Step up to the plate, bro. Be a good man to your girl. Be a good man to your kids. Show the world too that it's possible to go from a complete lunatic into somebody that's deserving of a little bit of credit if you can get to that point. Like, show us something, bro. You're always trying to prove everything to everybody, Aaron. You're always trying to prove to somebody that you're this, you're that. Well, why don't you prove to us that you're a human being who has a little bit of self-awareness and has a little bit of humility? Prove that to us right now. Go get yourself help, man. Like, you gotta, like, when everybody's saying something, you kind of got to start to look at yourself. You know what I mean? If you're the only person that thinks that you're fine and you're blaming the rest of the world and having all these conspiracies, like, it might be time to stop and take a look around you and reevaluate your situation and just get your shit together. Stop being a piece of shit, man. Stop stealing from people. Stop abusing Mel. Like, stop fucking, just stop being whack, man. Stop being a goof. Like, that's what it boils down to, is he's doing goofy activities. All this shit is goofy activities, man. And don't ever talk to another child again in your life, man. Ever.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else that you want to talk about or elaborate on before I get you off here?
No, I'm just going to plug my shit real quick, since, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. Where can people
Andru
find
Winter.
you?
ANDRU Winter. Look up my music. If you fuck with it, cool. If you don't fuck with it, cool. But check it out. And if you don't want to check it out, that's cool too. I really don't care, because that's the thing. Whether I'm successful with what I'm doing in the music industry or not, nothing changes for me. I'm straight. I got a roof over my head. I got water to drink. You know what I'm saying? I got good people in my life. You know what I mean? My family members are on point, and I have a beautiful family. So it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm good. I don't need any of this shit. I got good people around me. Me and my brother, Caleb Simmons. Shout out to my brother, Caleb Simmons, one of the best singers in North America, period. And, you know, that's what I care about. You know what I mean? I don't care about none of this shit, to be honest with you. The only reason that I'm taking part in it is because I got pushed into it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to let people disrespect me on the internet and just say whatever they want without me having a rebuttal. I'm not confrontational, but hey, man, I'm not confrontational, but I'm the last person you want a confrontation with. I'll just say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I treat you the way you treat me. I always tell people, it's a Sonny Barger quote: you treat me good, I'll treat you better. You treat me bad, I'll treat you worse. So it's up to you.
Yeah. All right. Well, and I also left your YouTube channel and your IG link in the description so people can find it as well. But thank you so much for joining me today and spilling the tea. And I appreciate you just opening up about everything.
Yeah, I appreciate you, and thank you for having me on your platform, and thank you for taking the time out of your day, and wishing you all the best and all the blessings and happiness in the world. And to everybody else out there that's watching too, you know, life's too short to waste your time caught up in foolishness. Like, even with this boy, trust me, the universe will get him. Trust me. We don't need to speed up the process. The universe is always on time. The universe is undefeated, and he will not get away with nothing. Trust me. If you think he's getting away with it now, it's just to set him up for an even harder fall down the road. So everybody that's trying to rush the process, just kick back a little bit and focus on your own life. This boy's going to spin himself out whether you try to or not. And that's between him and the universe, and that's between nobody else. You know what I mean? When it's his time, it'll be his time. But I hope that he can get his shit together before that time comes, because it's going to be ugly, because it's either going to be dead or in jail. It's like the same as being in a gang. It's only going to end two ways. And it's kind of weird, you know what I mean? Because he's not involved in that life at all, but he has the same outcomes associated with what he's doing. He's either going to end up dead or he's going to end up in jail. There's no other way around it. You're not riding off into the sunset, bro, and thinking that you're fooling everybody and screwing everybody over and getting away with it. And when they do come down on him, it's going to be bad, man. And I'm almost nervous. I almost feel like we're hitting that breaking point right now. Like, you know, when you're blowing up a balloon and it's blowing up, and you start to see the balloon get a little bit more see-through, and you're like, damn, I better stop blowing this bitch up before it blows. That's exactly what I feel about what Aaron's doing right now. I feel like he's a balloon that's at its absolute capacity, and even just a sharp corner of a fingernail is going to boom, blow that whole shit wide open. So respect to you, Amber. Thank you for having me on. And
thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining the chat today. Thank you for all the super chats, and I wish you the best. Take care. Have a good night.
Ciao.
All right. Bye.